All right, guys, so today's the day. I'm gonna go ahead and start on this. I'm actually gonna start on my passenger side first. I think that I'm gonna loosen this bolt first and foremost. Hopefully I can get something on there. It's pretty gnarly looking. I'm gonna take my wire brush and go around those nuts, see if I can get something on them. There we go. See how rusted that nut looks? Looks pretty bad. I'm going to try to get a wire brush in there and clean it up a little bit. But look, that hanger's just falling apart. So that's not good. But the trick is, if you can wire brush that down good enough and get a solid enough piece, you normally can pull those out. So that's what I'm going to try to do. Break those loose first and foremost, otherwise you'll never get them off. So you see this hanger is just, it's still okay, but it's not great, so I'm gonna go ahead and replace that. So with these rivets, I'm gonna grind those off, try to get some of that on film for you. But alright, let's get cracking. Alright, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set this jack up right here, put a little bit of tension on the spring, because it is going to want to go down after I take these loose, and I don't want to get hurt or pinched or anything like that. So, and I'm sorry about the glare that's on here. Can't do much about that. Let's see, there we go. Got some sun. But this thing right here is just falling apart. I'll brush this and treat it with Osfo as I go, so we'll see how this goes, man. Alright, so there we go. I got the first nut off right there. That was a 1-inch nut that was on the front of this. I did not have to hold that just because it's so rusted probably. But yeah, got that off. So, and my log fell down, but I'm going to put tension back on that, and I'm going to start cutting these rivets off. So that's where I'm at. And I used a breaker bar, and then I also have a air hammer there. So, or a ratchet, whatever. But yeah, that's what I used to get that off. It wasn't too bad. So let's keep it trucking. Alright, so I went ahead and took that big bolt out, which actually still looks pretty good, other than the head is a little messed up. Might reuse it, might not, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But we got that out of there, and this piece actually went up on me instead of down, so probably need to go ahead and jack up the frame a little bit, so that way it doesn't continue to try to go up while I'm doing this. And I think that's probably because of my shocks, which you see, those are gonna be crazy, but it'll be alright. We're gonna replace all that mess. So alright, so I actually had to jack it up right there. So now I can get to my bracket, get it off, and see if I can cut that out as well. I have a few different ways I can do that. I can heat it with the torch, or I can cut the piece out with my air hammer or air chisel. So we're going to figure out what best way to get that out of there, that bushing. But I got new to go back in there, which I'm going to check and make sure before I cut that one out that it's even going to go and they're the right thing. So just bear with me here. Thank you. Alright, so there we go. We got to grind down. If you look really close, you can see a ring in there, and that's where the bolt is. So that's where you're going to use your air hammer and knock that out. If you don't have an air hammer, you can use a punch and a hammer to do that. But that's how you get those rivets off. You cut the head off and then grind it down to where you can see that circle in there. Hopefully you can see that. But alright, let's keep it getting. Alright, so here we go. See how they turn out perfectly round there? So I did that. I got the bracket off. I mean, it's not too awful bad, but I'm gonna go ahead and do these while I do the shocks. Just go ahead and make it sound. I'm about to rub. I got a wire wheel for my drill. I'm gonna scuff that up a little bit and treat it with some OSFO. Let it bring it back. But these, once you get them out, so basically I cut the head off and I used my air chisel behind the plate here, and I got it started to peeling, and then I hit it with the hammer a few times and got them loose and took the claw part of the hammer and pulled it off there. And then you just hit these and free them up from the frame because they will be rusted in there. And now I'm going to take my air hammer and just punch them out to get those out of there. So that's pretty much how I'm doing that. All right, so there we go. We got the rivets out. Right there. You can tell where the old bracket was. Like I said, I'm just going to clean this up right now and treat it with OSFO before I put the other one on. I may go and grab my black spray paint and hit it with some paint before I mount this other bracket up there. So alright, that's what I'm doing now. Alright, here we go. So I chose the burnout method. Basically you take just a normal torch and you heat the metal inside ring up hot enough to catch that rubber on fire. So that's what I'm gonna do, and let that burn out is basically what it said. So it'll cook that rubber out, and then you just take a punch and knock the metal out of it. So I'm gonna try to do that, and we'll see how that works. Alright, so I was able to knock the middle piece out of it. I still got to get this rubber out. I guess I'm going to use my air chisel and see if I can chisel that stuff out, maybe while it's hot. Alright, so I went ahead and cut out the rubber. So basically took my sawzall with the metal bit to do that. I've cut through one side. The other side I haven't quite cut through, but now I'm using my air hammer to try to chisel this thing out like everybody says you can. It looks like it's going to come out fairly easy. I might make another cut right here and just cut it with the sawzall so I can pop a piece out, and then it'll all of it should be able to come out fairly easy. So that's what I'm doing anyway. So alright, and just remember, whenever that thing falls out of there, don't touch it. It's gonna be flaming hot, just like this piece up here is probably still warm. Safety first, guys. Alright, wear your safety glasses. Alright, and there we have it. We got that one out. So basically, like I said, I cut a section with the sawzall and then I cut it again, and pretty much didn't cut it all the way through, but I did use my air chisel and a regular chisel and hammer and just popped it out. Once it got that far, it pretty much slid in. I did squirt some PV blaster in there to make it easier to come out, but there we go. We got that clean. I'm going to hit it with the wire brush and the wire wheel probably, and put the new bearing in. And then this is tacky. I don't know how long it takes that asphalt to really cure, but looks like I'm going to be at this tomorrow, so I might squirt the whole truck and everything down with that stuff, as much as I can get of it, and then that way I'll be ready to rock and roll tomorrow. I don't know that I'm going to be able to put the bracket on yet. I might push that bearing through there, but that's probably about as far as I'm going to get. Alright, so I've heard about OSFO here, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to try it. And apparently it prepares rusted surfaces. for painting, and it stops rust. So that's how I'm going to do mine. It says do not breathe the spray, mist, fumes, gas, dust, vapors, wear gloves, and all this other good stuff. So that's what I'm going to do. Let's see what happens. Alright, and I am running out of daylight today, so I went ahead and OSFO'd everything here after I wire brushed it. So tomorrow I'm going to pick up right here, and I'm going to put that bearing in there, and then we'll go from there, man. Put the bracket on, put the bearing on, get this front side button back up. Then I'm going to go to the back side here. Just have to break this one free. And these are actually bolted on back here. Shoot, you can't see nothing, can you? Those are actually bolted on back there, so I'm going to unbolt those, hopefully. We'll see how that goes. If I cut them off, I cut them off. It's no big deal. I got new stuff to go back, so... Alright, and this is Rosie getting a rear end. That's all that OSFO stuff on there. You can see in certain places it have a chemical reaction. See how there's white bubbles in there, so not sure what it's doing, but it looks like it's doing something, so I'm gonna let it do it. And then there we go. The frame is really good on this truck. It's just mainly surface rust, so yeah, I want her to last a long time, so that's why I'm doing all this. And alright, I even sprayed in there, which will be alright. So cool deal. We're making her better than she was.